My friends, the time has come. The time for the world to start understanding and to realize why modern boomer shooters, yes, I will call it that out of simplicity. You can call it modern retro old school inspired game if you want to, but I won't. Okay, where was I? Oh yes, why modern boomer shooters is the genre of games that can be enjoyed the most by all sorts of gamers and personalities, as there is truly something for everyone here. Something that does not cost you a liver to actually play. Something you can actually play without feeling like you're doing a chore. Something where the main focus of the game is to actually have fun. So what do you say we do this? Let's do it! So first of all, what actually is a boomer shooter? And I'm going to put this very simply. It is a shooter game that takes inspiration from the shooters of the 90s, aka the golden age of gaming. It does not have to be exactly like a shooter from the 90s, but it has to draw inspiration from it, in one way or another, making it feel and play vastly different from your modern Call of Duty, Fortnite or class-based shooter of today. And this is where the line of when you can call a game a retro-inspired or boomer shooter is very blurred, because there is no definitive answer to this. Everyone feels like different things are what defines it. To some, it's the fact that you can carry all weapons at the same time. To others, it's the speed of the game. And to another group of people, it could be the arena-styled areas that you are fighting in. To me, the most important thing is that I can feel where the inspiration for the game comes from. Even if it has a ton of new and innovative things in it, if it manages to nail that feeling of the fun that the 90s shooters brought to the table, then I'm calling it a boomer shooter. I don't like to make it more complicated than that, and you don't have to either. Trust me, you will be happier if you don't. And no, the boomer shooter name does not refer to the actual generation of boomers. It's just a fun name for a subgenre of FPS games, simple as that, and I like simple. And feel free to ask away if you have any questions in regards to what actually is a boomer shooter. Don't be shy, ask away. Now let's continue with why boomer shooters is the best genre of games, and let's begin with addressing the biggest elephant in the room, the graphics. Most boomer shooters are trying to capture that nostalgic feel with low poly models or even pixels and sprites, and even if that throws you off, once you actually start to play them, you start noticing that each and every pixel and low poly model has been very well thought out, that there has been a lot of effort put into every single pixel and poly. The developers have simply not just lowered the look to old. Oh no, for a game to actually look old and still insanely good, the artist needs to have skill and technical competence, and it's hard actually seeing that just by watching trailers and movies on YouTube. You need to play it to actually feel and see it. But if old and good looking is for you, then boomer shooters definitely has you covered. Now if it's not, the magical thing about boomer shooters is that they come in much more variety than just that. Some of the games they try to combine modern and old, and this is my personal favorite style. I, as an example, love my pixel sprites and low poly models, combined with more realistic gore and modern lighting. To me, when this is done right, it's peak graphicals. But if that's not your jam either, a boomer shooter can even come in modern everything Unreal Engine 5 graphics as well, high poly counts, crisp textures and all that good stuff. In other words, a boomer shooter can come in all different shapes, sizes and looks. The good thing about this variety is that it appeals to such a wide audience. There is something that will appeal to almost anyone and everyone here, and something that will run on all different specs of PCs as well. But it can be tricky finding the right one for you, and that, my friend, is where my channel comes in play. I focus on digging all different kinds of boomer shooters out, trying to give exposure to the small indie developers and bringing value to you, the viewer, the player, and helping you finding just the right boomer shooter for you. So the graphics actually don't define if the game is a boomer shooter or not. What actually defines it is different for everyone, but it always harkens down to the mechanics of the game. Now let's continue with what I think is the least obvious, and that is the boomer shooter mechanics. This right here is often overlooked by the old school graphics or the very fast and scary looking gameplay. What I mean is that so many gamers today judge a game by its cover, but underneath that cover is some well thought out and tested mechanics. Now we often got the double jump, the dash, the infinite sprint or constant sprint, bunny hop, rocket jump, carry all the weapons at the same time, health packs, no reloads, unrealistic and super fun weapons, and the shotguns. Oh, the shotguns. Now many of the boomer shooters tries to combine modern mechanics with the old that I just mentioned. Like say Doom Eternal as an example. It tries to implement a lot of platforming and modern graphics combined with the fast speed, the crazy weapons and the arena style battles. And sometimes it works fantastic, but sometimes it doesn't. But what it surely does is open up the genre to more people. What I'm trying to say here is that not all of these mechanics are present in every single boomer shooter. In a modern boomer shooter, there's always a mix of them all, and often combined with something more modern or unique, making it so that there's literally a boomer shooter out there for anyone and everyone to enjoy. Now I want this segment to leave you with the confidence of knowing that just because a trailer of the most popular boomer shooter only shows insane fast speed combat doesn't mean that all boomer shooters are like that. Yet, even though if it does show insane speed, it is very much controllable, but you can't feel that until you actually play it. Sure, it does look scary, but it doesn't feel scary when playing it. As an example, Ultra Kill or Warstrike challenges, two of the fastest first-person shooters in the world, they always looked way too fast for me. I was too scared to play them. Then one day, I decided to do it. And they weren't all that scary at all. They were actually very much controllable because everything has been designed with the speed and crazy mechanics in mind, and you can't feel that by just watching it. You have to play it. And that makes you feel like a goddamn god at gaming, even if you aren't. And there is no other genre of FPS games that can do that. The satisfaction of nailing a rocket jump kill or a wall running kill is unmatched. There is not a snipe kill in the world that comes close to it. And that is just two of many more examples in the world of boomer shooters, making all the different combinations of unique old and modern mechanics that exists in all different boomer shooters so that there is a match for anyone and everyone out there. In other words, there's a mix of mechanics that will suit just about any gamer in the world of boomer shooters. And you would be surprised at how many times you might look at a game and think, oh, that is not for me. And then once you actually try it and play it, you're like, okay, this was a ton of fun. I had no idea this played this well, this was this controllable and this much fun. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's the lesson here. So the next segment, my friends, takes us to the variety of subgenres within the subgenre of boomer shooters. What I mean here is that not all boomer shooters focuses on storyless, mindless killing of demons. There is a huge variety to the games here as well. Take Deadlink, very much a roguelike boomer shooter with modern graphics. Or Nightmare Reaper, also very much a roguelike but with a story and more engaging RPG elements with a ton of abilities, perks and retro graphics. Or why not take Illwheel, a storyless boomer shooter with modern graphics combined with low poly models. Warhammer Boltgun, a retro style boomer shooter with absolutely minimal story. Or hey, the comical Forgive Me Father, a comic style boomer shooter with both story and RPG elements. I mean, there is literally a genre within the subgenre of boomer shooters for everyone. And what I just mentioned are just a few of the examples. There are even games that are inventing new genres within the genre that we never really heard or seen before, like Ultra Kill, creating a boast of Ultra Kill-like games, and we call it that because there is no real genre defining what it really is. Now the art style, it kinda blends in with the graphic segment, but I wanted to separate it to make it clear that the art style of a boomer shooter also comes in every imaginable way. It is not all about shooting demons from hell, blood and gore. Sure, I love that stuff, but if you don't, I can gladly say that you will find everything from colorful boomer shooters where you actually don't even kill things in, to super intense, dark and gory demonic style ones, and everything in between that. There's literally a style for every single individual on this earth, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And to add upon that, not just the colors, blood and look is different from game to game, the settings are of course different as well. In one game you can be in the trenches of World War II, while in another one you could find yourself in a colorful magical forest. The imagination is really the only hinder for boomer shooter developers. There is no corporate suit stopping you here. It's just the imagination. Now another fantastic thing is that you do not have to pay with your liver to be able to afford a boomer shooter. To get the full game, it usually costs you about 1/3 of a AAA game. Sure, the budget of creating a boomer shooter is often less than 1/3 of a AAA game, but that doesn't matter because we are players and we care what is next to that buy button before hitting it. And what you get for that 1/3 of the price is a game that focuses on fun. It focuses on being innovative and does not care about trends or how to make the most amount of money from you by selling you in-game items, loot boxes or battle passes, resulting in you paying less but getting much more enjoyment back. than you would from, let's say, your traditional modern AAA game. And another thing that is very much worth mentioning is the community surrounding boomer shooters and indie developers in general. It is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot recommend that you squeeze your way in it enough. The first step to do that would be to join my Discord, linked in the description. So did I convince you that boomer shooters is the best subgenre of games in the world? Leave a comment, let me know. And to find the one game that suits you, don't miss these.